Draculaura and Valentina Evernight were as different as night and day. Draculaura embraced her vampire heritage, her dark attire a reflection of her lineage. Valentina, on the other hand, lived a double life. By day, she was the pop sensation, V, adored by millions. By night, she was a creature of the shadows, her secret carefully guarded. Valentina's secret weighed heavily on her. She yearned to live freely, but the fear of exposure was a constant shadow. Draculaura understood her sister's struggle. She vowed to protect Valentina, even if it meant defying the ancient laws of their kind. The sisters shared an unbreakable bond. They trained together, honing their supernatural abilities. Draculaura taught Valentina how to control her thirst, how to blend in, and how to disappear when needed. Their differences only strengthened their connection, making them a formidable duo. One sunny afternoon, while sipping blood-red cocktails, Draculaura received a message. It was about Abraham Van Helsing, a renowned professor known for his philanthropy. He was, however, a vampire hunter in disguise, using his influence to turn humans against their kind. This information was dangerous, and the sisters knew they had to act fast. Abraham Van Helsing was a wolf in sheep's clothing. He hid behind a carefully crafted persona, fooling the world with his charm and intellect. But Draculaura and Valentina knew the truth. Van Helsing was a direct descendant of the famed vampire hunter, Abraham Van Helsing. He inherited his ancestors' hatred for their kind, vowing to eradicate them from the face of the earth. Draculaura discovered Van Helsing's true intentions through a network of ancient informants. These informants, sworn to secrecy, were scattered among humans, their identities hidden. They observed and reported any suspicious activities that threatened their kind. One such informant, a librarian working at the university where Van Helsing taught, noticed him studying ancient texts on vampirism. The texts were not part of the university's collection, but rather from Van Helsing's private library. The librarian also overheard Van Helsing talking to a group of students about the myth of vampires, subtly instilling fear and prejudice in their minds. This information was alarming. Van Helsing was not just a hunter. He was a manipulator, sowing seeds of discord among humans. The sisters knew they had to expose him, but they had to tread carefully. A direct confrontation would be disastrous. They needed a plan, a foolproof way to reveal his true nature to the world. Draculaura and Valentina devised a plan to expose Van Helsing. They decided to use Valentina's fame to their advantage. Valentina, as V, would announce a surprise performance in the town square. Knowing Van Helsing's hatred for their kind, they were sure he wouldn't be able to resist the opportunity to confront V, unaware of her true identity. The day of the event arrived. The town square was buzzing with excitement. Fans had gathered from all corners of the city to catch a glimpse of their idol, V. Draculaura, hidden among the crowd, discreetly filmed the entire event, her fangs bared in anticipation. As Valentina launched into her hit song, a hush fell over the crowd. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the throng. It was Van Helsing, his face contorted in rage. He charged towards the stage, brandishing a silver crucifix. The crowd gasped, their cheers turning to screams. "Vampire!" Van Helsing roared, his voice booming across the square. "Your reign of terror ends now!" He lunged towards Valentina, but she was too quick. She sidestepped, his momentum carrying him off the edge of the stage. But something unexpected happened. As Van Helsing lay sprawled on the ground, the crowd didn't rush to his aid. Instead, they whipped out their phones, their faces illuminated by the screens. They weren't concerned about Van Helsing, they were recording Valentina. "V! V! Look at the camera!" they shouted, their voices a cacophony. Valentina was their idol, and nothing, not even a crazed professor, could change that. They didn't care if she was a vampire, they just wanted a selfie. Draculaura watched the scene unfold, a knot of dread forming in her stomach. Their plan had backfired. Instead of exposing Van Helsing, they had inadvertently pushed Valentina further into the spotlight. The crowd's reaction was not fear, but excitement. They saw it as a publicity stunt, a bizarre twist in V's already eccentric persona. "We need to get out of here!" Draculaura hissed, grabbing Valentina's arm. They melted into the crowd, their supernatural speed allowing them to slip away unnoticed. They found refuge in a secluded alleyway, hidden from prying eyes. Valentina leaned against the cold brick wall, her chest heaving. "What are we going to do?" she asked, her voice laced with panic. "Van Helsing is still out there, and now everyone thinks I'm a vampire." Draculaura took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. "Don't worry," she said, her voice firm. "We'll figure something out, we always do." But deep down, Draculaura knew this was different. The stakes were higher than ever. They had to find a way to control the narrative before it spiraled out of control. They had to change the story. "We need a distraction," Valentina said, pacing back and forth in their secluded hideout. "Something big enough to overshadow this whole vampire debacle." Draculaura pondered for a moment. "What if we give them something else to talk about?" she suggested. "Something unexpected." Valentina stopped pacing, her brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" A mischievous glint sparkled in Draculaura's eyes. "Imagine this. V, the pop icon, adopting a vampire dog. And not just any vampire dog, but the last of its kind, rescued from a notorious vampire hunter." Valentina stared at her sister, a slow smile spreading across her face. And to further cement her love for all creatures, V could also reveal she's dating a vampire. The plan was outrageous, absurd even, but that's what made it perfect. It was so ridiculous, so outlandish that no one would believe the vampire part. It would be dismissed as a publicity stunt, a carefully crafted narrative to rehabilitate V's image. The question was, where would they find a vampire dog and a willing vampire boyfriend? Finding a vampire dog was surprisingly easy. Turns out there was a shelter for rescued supernatural creatures just outside the city. It was run by a kind witch who specialized in finding homes for misunderstood creatures. The vampire dog, a scruffy terrier mix with glowing red eyes, was the last of his litter. His name was Shadow, and he was perfect. Finding a vampire boyfriend, however, proved to be a bigger challenge. Most vampires, they knew, were either too reclusive or too invested in their human disguises to entertain Valentina's proposal. Just when they were about to give up hope, Draculaura remembered Vlad. Vlad was a vampire known for his charm and his flexible morals. He was also ridiculously good-looking, with smoldering dark eyes and a jawline that could cut diamonds. He was the epitome of a brooding, Byronic hero, and he owed Draculaura a favor. "Vlad, darling," Draculaura purred, cornering him at a local blood bank. "I have a proposition for you." Vlad raised an eyebrow, his gaze skeptical. "Does this proposition involve risking my unlife for one of your sister's schemes?" "Maybe," Draculaura said with a sly smile. "But trust me, this one will be legendary." And so, Vlad found himself thrust into the role of Valentina's devoted vampire boyfriend. He was surprisingly good at it, playing the part with just the right amount of brooding intensity and playful affection. Shadow, the vampire dog, took an immediate liking to Vlad, showering him with sloppy kisses. It was almost too perfect. The media went into overdrive. V, the pop princess, had outdone herself this time. Not only had she seemingly shrugged off the vampire accusations, but she had also adopted a vampire dog and was now dating a mysterious and handsome vampire. Paparazzi camped outside V's mansion, hoping to catch a glimpse of the unconventional couple. Every detail of their lives was scrutinized, analyzed, and dissected. There were countless articles speculating about Vlad's origins, Shadow's dietary preferences, and the authenticity of their relationship. Social media exploded with hashtags like #VandVlad, #VampireDog, and #LoveWins. Fan art depicting V, Vlad, and Shadow in various romantic and adventurous scenarios flooded the internet. There were even whispers of a movie deal in the works. The public ate it up. The vampire hunter incident was all but forgotten, overshadowed by V's whirlwind romance and her newfound love for all things supernatural. The plan was working. The distraction was a resounding success. But amidst the chaos, Draculaura couldn't shake off a nagging feeling. How long could they keep this charade up? And more importantly, what would happen when the truth finally came out? As the weeks turned into months, a strange thing happened. The public's initial skepticism gave way to acceptance, then admiration. V's unwavering affection for Vlad and Shadow, her willingness to embrace the unconventional, resonated with people. Fans wrote letters praising V for her courage, for breaking down barriers and challenging societal norms. They admired her for seeing past the stereotypes and embracing Vlad and Shadow for who they truly were. Even the media seemed to soften their stance. Articles that were once filled with skepticism and sensationalism now spoke of V's relationship with a newfound respect. There were even think pieces published about how V's openness about dating a vampire was a sign of progress, a reflection of society's growing acceptance of the LGBTQ+ community. The vampire hunter incident was nothing more than a distant memory, a blip in the ever-evolving narrative that was V's life. The world had moved on, captivated by the spectacle of it all. In a strange twist of fate, V's attempt to distract the public from her vampirism had inadvertently paved the way for a more accepting and inclusive society. It was a testament to the power of love, acceptance, and a really good publicist. Life settled into a new normal for the Evernight sisters. Valentina continued to make music, her career reaching new heights. Her relationship with Vlad, initially a publicity stunt, blossomed into something real. They genuinely cared for each other, their bond strengthened by shared experiences and a love for blood-flavored popsicles. Shadow, the vampire dog, became a global icon. He had his own line of merchandise, a social media following that rivaled some A-list celebrities, and even starred in a series of commercials for organic, blood-free dog food. It was Vlad's idea. As for Van Helsing, his credibility was shattered. His claims about V being a vampire were dismissed as the ramblings of a madman. The university revoked his tenure, and he became a recluse, spending his days writing angry letters to anyone who would listen. Draculaura, ever the protective older sister, kept a watchful eye on everything, ensuring their secret remained safe. But even she couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of it all. They had set out to expose a vampire hunter, and ended up inadvertently changing the world. It wasn't the outcome they had planned, but it was, in its own strange way, a happy ending. The Vampire Queen's secret was safe, hidden in plain sight, protected by the very people it was meant to be kept from. And sometimes, Draculaura mused, the best way to keep a secret was to create a distraction so captivating, so utterly unbelievable, that no one would ever suspect the